Jason Mraz in search of incredible, and I'm here in Morocco in search of surf. It's where I found some of the most incredible waves in my life, and it's what attracts surfers from all around the world to this amazing region. Now, surfing is a passion for me, but I wouldn't say I'm the most incredible surfer in the world. I do know a guy, though, who is the most incredible surfer in the world. His name is Jesse Billauer, and I'd like you to meet him too. Dude.
What up?
Hey, what's up?
How's it going?
So, when did you first get involved with surfing?
Man, you know, like growing up by the beach in Pacific Palisades, I was like, man, that looks like a lot of fun out there. So I just started boogie boarding at first, and then I started longboarding just when I was like 9, 10 years old. And by the time I was 17, I was like top 100 surfers in Surfer magazine. I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a professional surfer. I want to surf for a living.
So what happened?
It was March 25th, 1996. I took off on this one wave, and going down the line, pulled in the barrel. When I came out, the wave hit me in my back, and I didn't really have time to put my hands up, you know, and I didn't know how shallow it was. I ended up going head first into the water and hit the shallow sandbar, and my whole body just went limp and numb and tingly. And when you're 17 and you hear that, you know, you broke your neck and that you severed your spinal cord, you may never walk again, I mean, your life just stops, you know? And at that moment, I really didn't know what to think. Is this really permanent, you know? And every day that went by, I realized that this was pretty permanent, man.
So that was 15 years ago. How long after your injury before you got back in the water?
It took me 3 years because figure out the right equipment, you know, because nobody was really doing this before me, and I didn't really know how to set up the surfboard, didn't know what to do. Yeah, so now like I have, you know, muscles up here, so I just lay down on my stomach, prop myself on my elbows, and then my friends push me into the waves, and then it's all me, and that is like so much freedom and so much independence.
The world as I see it is a remarkable place. From a bird's eye view I can see it has a well-rounded personality. From a bird's eye view I can see we are family. And it's not hard for me to love you, hard for me to love you. No, it's not a difficult thing. It's not hard for me to love you, hard for me to love you, because you are the world to me.
Even falling is fun. I'm paralyzed, but when I fall, you know, I got a really good life jacket, and I know I'm not gonna drown. I found like I could surf, you know, and that just gave me more inspiration for myself. So I realized that my story was, you know, an important story just to share. And that could bring hope and inspiration to people, whether they're disabled or not. So I got into doing motivational speaking.
I was floating face down in the water, unable to move, and luckily a wave turned me over. And
99% of the people I talk to are walking, but they come up to me and just, I've had kids that were like, I was thinking about committing suicide until I heard you talk. And I mean, man, if you could save one life, that's amazing. I just want to do the things that I love, you know? And so after my injury, I don't know, maybe 5 years after my injury, I went skydiving. That was pretty amazing, you know? Then a few years after that, I went 220 miles out to sea, went cage diving with 12 to 15 foot great white sharks. I mean, that was beautiful. Like, I just figured, always have something to look forward to, and life won't be that bad.
So I told you we'd meet an incredible surfer. And by the looks of Jesse in the water, you can tell that the situation never stopped him from pursuing his dream. And in addition to his physical strength and his knowledge of the water, what really inspires me about Jesse is that he shares his strength with others. He invites you in on his journey. He invites you to share the same wave. And in surfing, that's called sharing the stoke. But it's what I call incredible.
Yeah, the world is
As you know, I was in this surfing accident, but for 17 years, I walked. I was able to feel my body. I was independent. I had this freedom, you know. I was able to do everything that I wanted to do. My parents were super supportive. I loved baseball, soccer, surfing. I played all these different sports. My parents just said, hey, try these things. Find out what your passion is. Find out what you love. When you figure out what you love in life, that's where the meaning comes in. That's where you find like your purpose. That's where you find out like, I'm gonna put my time and my energy into that. Because when I was young, I was able to enjoy life. And that's what it's all about, enjoying life, being around your friends, your family. Because life is about surrounding yourself with positive people, doing positive things. You hang around negative people, you know, negative things are gonna follow. I remember when I was in school, there was, you know, you had your little cliques, little friends and bullies and stuff like that. I promise you, when you put other people down, it's gonna come back to you even worse. Always be nice, always be kind, always be friendly. You know, when I got injured, that's when I figured out really what resilience was. I didn't really know. I thought bad things happen to bad people, not bad things happen to, you know, good people. You know, I was doing everything that I loved. You know, the day that I got hurt surfing was just like any other day. Beautiful out. I was surfing at Zuma Beach in Malibu. Just a gorgeous day. My friends met me there. Paddle out like every other day. When I caught these waves, that was my passion. My life was about surfing. And when I fell, I hit my head. My whole body went limp and numb and tingly. And luckily, my best friends were in the water and they pulled me out. But as I lay there on the sand, all my dreams were flashing in front of my eyes. Like, would I find that love of my life? Would I be in a big feature film movie? Would I be a professional surfer? Would I graduate college? All of those things were flashing in front of my mind, you know? And when they took me to the hospital, I looked up at my dad and I told him, I said, I'd rather be dead than be paralyzed. Because what was I gonna do in a wheelchair? Was I gonna just do nothing? That's not what my life was. Like, I was on the path to becoming a professional surfer. I was doing competitions. I was traveling the world. I was at 16 years old traveling Indonesia, Tahiti, Hawaii, Costa Rica, Mexico. I was sponsored by Billauer. And I was just about to turn professional when this happened. So when I was in the hospital, I had to learn how to brush my teeth, brush my hair, feed myself. At 17 years old, I should have been out there with all my friends doing everything that 17-year-olds do, but here I was in the hospital, laying in bed, could barely sit up without feeling dizzy. I had to have a strap around my chest when I was in my wheelchair because my balance was bad. And at that moment, all I wanted to do was just go home. Nobody wants to be in the hospital. Nobody wants to be there, let alone be there for months and months. When the doctor told me that I broke the 6th vertebrae in my neck, it's when my life just stopped. I asked everyone to leave the room. I laid there and I thought about what am I gonna do? Am I gonna be able to surf still? Am I gonna be able to have a baby? Am I gonna be able to have kids? Am I gonna, you know, like have a wife? All those things. I didn't know. But at that moment, all that mattered was, can I brush my teeth? Can I brush my hair? I couldn't even feel my body. I lost that sensation. I lost that ability to walk, to be able to have that freedom. The things that, when I was younger, I never even thought about that could be taken away. So when you wake up and you're able to walk and being able to feel and be able to put your clothes on and run and go up the stairs, realize that that can be taken away. So be grateful for what you do have. There's a lot of people out there that might have more than you, but you gotta realize there's probably a lot of people that have a lot less. So work hard at the things that you want. Find out what your passion is. Find out what your dreams are. So when I did go home, I was a junior in high school. And I got hurt in March, so my teachers, they helped me do homeschool through the summer. And I went back, because I wanted to go to school with my friends, but I wanted to graduate with them. I ended up being homecoming king, and I didn't expect that I was going to go to college, because my whole dream was professional surfer. But I ended up going to college at San Diego State. I majored in communication. And my dream was to get back on the surfboard, but I didn't know how. Nobody was doing this before my injury. So Rob Machado, Kelly Slater, and Al Merrick, they came up with an idea of me laying down on a surfboard where they could push me into waves. And I remember the first time I went out, I was super nervous and scared, but when they pushed me into it, I finally felt this freedom and this independence that I lost. I wasn't in my wheelchair. I was on the ocean, gliding down on this wave. And when I got to the beach, I had this big smile on my face. And I realized, like, wow, I could actually do something that I never thought I could after my injury. And that opened up the doors to so many more things. At that moment, I thought, man, I'm gonna have to give this opportunity to other people, because it felt so good for me. I didn't want to just hold on to it. So it took a couple years, but I started a foundation where we take out people with various disabilities surfing. Then now we do skateboarding and fishing. It's called Life Rolls On. And the programs are called They Will Surf Again, They Will Skate Again, They Will Fish Again. And that gave me purpose, you know, and it gave me a life where I was able to give back. I could have easily just folded up, stayed home, felt sorry for myself. But I had a choice, just like everyone has a choice. You have a choice to go down the positive road or go down the negative road. You have a choice to change some of the things you do or some of the things you say. Maybe instead of saying something negative to somebody, you can say something positive. Instead of like, it's not hard. Just sometimes slow down. Life can go by fast. Sometimes slow down and think about your choices, because every decision that you make can change your life, your friends' lives, your parents' lives. Whether that's just walking across the street at the wrong time, getting into a car with someone who's drinking, not wearing the right protective equipment in different sports, all those decisions can change your life. You know, sometimes it's better to get out there in the world, explore, see nature, get off your phone, talk to people. Everyone in here struggles with something. For me, I'm in a wheelchair. You can see it. You can see that I need help. You can see my, disability. But a lot of us out there are struggling inside. And it's up to you as a friend or as a stranger to ask people how they're doing. Say hi, open the door for them, give them a little bit of food or money. You don't know what someone's going through. So sometimes call your friends and just say, hey, I was just thinking about you. I just want to see how you're doing. You never know. Sometimes the biggest struggles are inside. I've had friends that have committed suicide that looked like life was perfect. But it took like that moment for me to realize like we could do better. Before bad things happen, we could do better. So sometimes just slow down. And then, like after my injury, when I surfed, I was like, wow, I could do that. And then I went skydiving, I went cage diving with great white sharks. And then in 2015, one of my dreams came true. I became the first adaptive surfing world champion. And now I've won 4 world titles. I became, on the Huntington Beach, they have a walk of fame, like where there's a plaque on the road, right, on the sidewalk. and there was like this special thing, it was called the honor roll. I don't know if they had the honor roll because I'm in a wheelchair, like they were rolling, but I was like, okay, cool, honor roll. No, I'm just kidding, man. We do sit down comedy, not stand up. That's cool, couple laughs, that's all I need. Anyway, so like, I did that. I have twin boys that are 8 years old, and found the love of my life, and those are the things that people struggle to find, let alone someone in a wheelchair where life's supposed to be just that much harder. But I surround myself with positive people. I want to make the dreams come true. It's not the same way, but I'm still making it happen, and that's what being resilient is, not giving up. Yeah, after my injury, I've surfed big waves. I still surf 10 to 15 foot waves. And a couple times I've fallen and I've broken my femur. Didn't feel it. It's pretty cool. But it sucks. But put some rods in there, a couple screws, and did it again. And that just shows that bad things are going to happen. Life is not easy. You're going to struggle. And you're going to have to find your own way to get through it. But life is not about being alone through these struggles. Find good people that you can count on. And it's not going to be a lot. It could be one, it could be two. Those are your true friends, You're going to have a lot of acquaintances, but throughout life, you're going to realize there are only a couple that are going to be by your side through the ups and the downs. And why don't you be that person for somebody? So look within yourselves, find out what you're struggling with. If you can't do it alone, that's normal. You know what I'm saying? My life is only as good as I made it. And I feel like I've made it pretty good. So I hope your life rolls on too. Thanks for having me.